Hi, I'm Scott Sheldon, and welcome to this episode of Winegazer. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're doing a little feature on Zinfandel from California. And what we're going to do is look at 3 examples of blends coming from different parts of California from Ravenswood Winery. So, this time of year, a lot of us gravitate towards some of the, heavier wines like Petite Syrah and Syrah or Shiraz and Zinfandel. They go great with comfort food. They have a hedonistic feeling about them. Those, big, ripe, jammy flavors. They're just comforting, and they go great for the holidays and such. So it's just kind of natural, that we tend to, get excited about these wines this time of year. So let's talk a little bit about the origin just for a minute. This wine came to California 1829. George Gibbs, a nurseryman, brought some clippings over from Europe, and that's how it got its roots started. People always think of Pinot Noir as being, the real fickle grape in California, and Zinfandel does have its fair share of problems. Like Pinot Noir, it is a thin-skinned grape, and so it has big clusters of berries. And when we get a lot of rain, which I know it isn't that often, but it is susceptible to rot. These big bunches of berries, a lot of times they don't ripen evenly. And then when the berries do get ripe, they shrivel pretty quick. So, when the fruit's ripe, you got to get out there, get them off the vine, and get the process started, or you're going to have some subpar fruit on your hands. So, with that being said, let's get into the first wine. We got a 2010 Zinfandel, like I said, coming from Ravenswood Winery. This is Lodi County, and 77% Zinfandel, 23% Petite Syrah, rolls in at $13.99 and 14.9% alcohol. The fruit, it's a mixture, 95% coming from Lodi and 5% from Mendocino County. So, nice logo there. It's probably the most recognized wine logo in the world. And if you have it tattooed on your arm or something and come in, you'll get free tasting, is my understanding. So let's take a little gander at that. All right, let's give it a pour. This wine's been open for about an hour or so. Try to let them open up a bit. Very dark red color. You can see that. Oh, hold on. Hopefully that helps. Pretty dark red color. Yes, we're trying to shed some light on the subject here at Winegazer. Let's get some air into this. Wonderful black cherry. We got some raspberry aromas coming through, so really nice fruit, nice and bright, not overly jammy. Nice notes of cocoa. You got some clove coming through, baking spice. You got some dried sage, so a little rustic on the nose, not heavy, kind of bright. I like it. Let's give it a taste. Gorgeous sour cherries coming through. Really juicy on the palate, nice and full. I like that. Great acidity on this wine too, by the way. Good balance. And great finish too. Nice length. I can still taste those real, sour black cherries still just dancing on the palate. Really nice, really nice. Nice full tannins too on this wine, and they're just like, you know, they're there, they're not overpowering. They're just like, hey, how you doing? We're just hanging out. We're not going to bother you. You know, just full, nice, round tannins. And I really like what's going on this Zinfandel. You know, I would say 2.5 out of 5 stars. Good, solid wine, 14 bucks. And good start to the show. Let's dump this, or actually move things around, and get on to wine number 2. So now we're going to move from Lodi out to Napa for 2010 Old Vine Zin, Napa Valley, rolling in at $15.99, 14.5% alcohol, and 14 months in 30% new French oak, for those of you keeping score at home. And again, it is a blend, 76% Zin, 23% Petite Syrah, 1% Carignan. And the fruit's coming from Napa Valley, from Oakville, from St. Helena, even a little bit from Sonoma County. So, you know, with the rules in California, you can, you know, cheat a little bit, get some fruit from outside of Napa, as long as it's not too much, and still call it, you know, a Napa Valley wine. So again, you know, the same label. All these wines, they have that same iconic label. And let's give it a pour. Take a look at the color again. But this is almost a little more purple in it from where I'm standing. Nice dark color though, you can see. Okay. You have to let me know how this works on your end. What do you think about it? If it's a distraction, or if it's actually helping you to see the color of the wine. Who knows? Let's give it a smell. Wow, really exotic spices on the nose. You have like cardamom, you have clove, again, like what we smelled in the first wine. And then you have some sassafras, and if you're not familiar with that, that's one of the components in root beer. So you're getting like this root beer kind of sarsaparilla flavor coming through. That's just gorgeous. Get some more air into this. A nice ripe plum, like really dark plum aromas coming through. A little bit of white pepper. Wow, that's nice. Let's give it one more smell. A little bit of cinnamon. Yeah, the spice notes on this wine are just off the charts. I mean, if you like spiciness in your wine, it's definitely one that you're going to like. And that's one of the interesting characteristics of Zinfandel, is this like jammy fruit components mixing with like baking spices and kind of this, you know, kind of dry, rustic mouthfeel. So it's kind of a contrast, you know, dry, kind of heavy, juicy, lean. So, you know, that's one of the things I really appreciate about a good Zinfandel. Let's give this a taste. Wonderful ripe black plums, black raspberries, a lot of great fruit jumping off on the palate here. You know, the cherries again, you got the sour cherry notes that are fluttering around, really nice, and great dark chocolate just mixing in with that fruit. That is really wonderful. Let's give it another taste. Yeah, just gorgeous, ripe fruit. Really, this is a little bit more jammy than the first wine. You still have a little bit of acidity coming through. Nice tannins, you know, pretty decent structure. The finish, not as bold as the first wine, but the nose, I'm telling you, the nose and the spice, this is the all-around spice, because you're getting some more of that kind of spiciness on the palate as well. Let's give it one more sip. nice olive fruit, really plush and jammy, and again, hedonistic, one of these terms that comes about when you're talking about Zinfandel. Makes you just want to relax and just chill out, enjoy the wine. And to me, Zinfandels are tremendous food wines, or they are also just great sipping wines to be enjoyed on their own, because they have this sweet fruitiness about them. So again, I would say 2.5 stars. I think they're just kind of right in line with one another. Solid wines. Let's move on. Let's look at wine number 3. Now we're moving over to Sonoma County. 2009, Sonoma County Old Vine Zin. Again, a blend. 84% Zin, 8% Petite Syrah, 6% Carignan, and 2% mixed black. So I don't even know exactly what that is. Just like a field blend of some, a black grape somewhere that they're pulling from. And $15.99 is the suggested retail, 14.5% alcohol. Again, the fruit's coming from all over. It's coming from Dry Creek Valley. It's coming from Sonoma Valley, from Alexander Valley, a Russian River Valley. And a lot of these vines are 50 up to 80 years old. So really, really old vines that we're looking at here. Again, take a look at that label. Okay, let's give it a pour. So Joel Peterson, he started Ravenswood Winery back in '76. He worked in a lab for years. He has a degree in some sort of, I think microbiology. And so basically, he started Ravenswood Winery in the daytime, working in the lab at night. And again, 1976. It wasn't until 1992 he was actually able to quit his day job, or I guess you would call it his night job, being a scientist, and focus 100% on the winery. And he learned his winemaking skills from Joseph Swan, another iconic winemaker. And so Joel, he partnered up with Reed Foster, who's kind of the business side, the green side, if you will, while Joel handles the red side, as they like to call it. And Joel's credo was basically, from the beginning, no wimpy wine. So that's their slogan. And they're trying to make powerful, expressive wines that are ready to drink now. But most of these wines, these first two, you could definitely put them away. They would be in their prime, I would say, like 5, 6, even 7 years from now. They'd really be kicking. But they're they're good to go right now. And so why don't we take a look at the color again? Cutting board action. So this is like a really, really deep, dark, like blackish red color that I'm seeing on my end here. Look at that. Okay. Some air into this puppy. Yeah, you got like overly ripe, like blackberries, like almost like a blackberry jam or a blackberry pie. Really nice. Got a little bit of leather coming through, little motorcycle jacket, if you will, like that. Little cinnamon. Getting some vanilla on the nose on this wine. Didn't really get it so much on the first two. There's a nice earthy component too, kind of like a damp forest floor, pine needles and moss and tree bark and dirt and, leaves, all that kind of stuff rustled together. Really nice nose. Let's give this a taste. Oh, nice blueberry action coming through. Again, kind of like a cooked berry thing, like what you'd find in a pie or a muffin. It's really nice, really distinctful. The wine's a little heavier on the tannins. Definitely starting to, get that tea effect. If you've ever drank like a really strong cup of tea, it like puckers in the inside of your mouth. It's definitely, this one I would say could use a little bit of time, definitely like a year or two. I don't think it's quite as ready to go as these first two, even though it is an 09. It's just a little bit more tannic. And you can also smell that astringency coming through from the tannins on the nose. Let's give it one more taste. Yeah, just more great, dark, sour, overripe, like fruit. Reminds me of like dark plums and blackberries, like I said, blueberries. Really nice, really nice. I would say 2 stars. I don't like it quite as much as the first two, but still solid. I mean, to me, when I say 2 out of 5 stars, that is like a good, solid wine right there. I think 3 stars, you're looking at great. 4 stars is like excellent, outstanding, and 5 stars to me is a wine that's just classic, perfect, just a benchmark of quality. In case you were wondering about my rating system, obviously a 1-star wine isn't something that you'd recommend. 1 star to me out of 5 is mediocre. So with that out of the way, great wines, great price points. I mean, all these wines are well under $20. You should be able to find them easily. And it's fun, if you're having a bunch of people over for holidays or for a special dinner, instead of getting, a 6-pack of one kind of Zinfandel, you can get like 2 of each. Play around, see how your guests like the different nuances of each wine. That's, the fun of wine, just get nerdy all up in here about it, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about food, classic pairings, of course. Barbecue is a no-brainer with Zinfandel. I think it goes tremendously well with pastas, red sauce pastas especially, pizzas, fantastic with lasagna. I love it with spicy food because I'm not as much of a white wine drinker, so usually like when I go for Indian food or Mexican food, I go for a Zinfandel. That's usually my go-to wine. If I'm getting something really, really hot and spicy, I'll usually just switch to beer anyhow, like a nice lager. Other cheeses, blue cheeses, heavy cheeses go great with Zinfandel. Lamb, heavy stews are great choices. Even game, some duck, like a grilled duck breast. What else? Steaks, tremendous for pairing up with burgers. So really just a tremendous food wine. And so you want to check these guys out online, ravenswoodwinery.com. And if you want to learn more about Zinfandel in California, there's this group of Zinfandel fanatics called ZAP. And it's Zinfandel Advocates and Producers. You can check them out at zinfandel.org. So hope I compelled you to drink a Zinfandel. Maybe try some of these Ravenswood wines and see if you like them and see how they compare to one another. I wanted to say thank you to the folks over at Folsom & Associates for sending in samples. Thank you to Ravenswood. It was appreciated very much. We're on a little bit of a tight budget here at Winegazer, so it's always nice and appreciated to get some wine sent our way, some samples that we can share with the viewers. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the episode. Hope you have a wonderful time of year with the holidays and friends and family and all that kind of stuff. And until next time, cheers.